Welcome to Back Cover, the podcast that explores the classic soul music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm Karen Williams. Join me and my co-host Steve Williams, and no, we're not related, as we flip over the album covers and share stories of the movers and shakers that created, wrote, and produced those classic soul sounds. We'll educate and entertain you, all while keeping the music alive. Welcome to episode 1 of Back Cover. Today we're going to take you through a melange of artists. Yeah, melange. Just one of the few French words I know. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Tina Turner, Otis Clay, Aretha Franklin, and we threw in a couple of tidbits of just some fun stuff. Sit back and listen.
We were just talking about her ex-husband, Anna Gordy, the older sister of Berry Gordy.
Okay.
Her birthday is today. Anna actually started her business before her younger brother, Anna Records. And she had The Miracles. She had David Ruffin. She had a whole, the Voice Masters. But they did all of their studio work at Chess Records in Chicago.
Oh.
So, yeah. And
why didn't she stay? Why didn't she become Motown? I mean,
well, she was a songwriter as well. So what happened? They sort of merged together because she had money and Barry had very little. Even when he borrowed the money from his father, he had no knowledge of the business.
Okay.
He could write songs, yes, but his parents had thrown him out because he didn't want to go into the family construction business. But she took him in. He lived with her for like 3 years as a songwriter. And that's how he got to meet Smokey and Jackie Wilson, actually, because him and Jackie were boxers. And this name, Robert Calvin Bland, today is his birthday up in Soul Heaven. You know that name?
Bobby Blue Bland.
Bobby Blue Bland, yeah. I had the pleasure of working with him for 5 years, man. Very nice guy. Didn't shout. If he was angry, you didn't know about it until he actually had to say something to you. Yeah, young blood, yeah. I need to talk to you. So he was a very nice guy. Everybody, of course, called him Blue. Yeah. Very nice guy, man. Blessed. Sometimes I just think about how blessed I've been just to know all these legendary people at such a young age back then.
Yeah, you were blessed. Tell me about Clarence. How did you say his name?
Avant.
Avant.
Yeah, Clarence Avant. Some people say Avant, but it's Avant. It's pronounced Avant.
He is going to get the Industry Icon Award at the Grammys. This was the same event. It's going to be taking place at the same event that Clive Davis hosts every year right before the Grammys. And it was the party that
they discovered
Whitney Houston, because she was supposed to be going to that party because Clive Davis does it every year. But this year, they're giving this to Clarence Avant. Now, a lot of you may not know him, but you certainly know
his music.
Know his music. He's
and his artist.
87 years old. He has managed the careers of musicians like Sarah Vaughan, Freda Payne, Jimmy Smith, and Lalo Schifrin. Do you know who Lalo Schifrin is?
I have no idea.
Yes, you do.
Why?
You know Lalo Schifrin's. You know his work. You just don't know you know his work.
Please, do tell.
Dun, 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 dun,
Mission Impossible.
Dun. That's right. He wrote the theme for Mission Impossible. Brazilian musician.
This is your mission if you choose to do it. Yeah,
to take it.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's one of my favorite TV shows, too.
I liked it. I used to like it. I like the new one with Tom Cruise.
I liked it, too.
Yeah, it's very
entertaining.
Yeah.
Okay, so Avant, is known as the godfather of black music. And he created the music label Sussex, which boasted such artists as Lean on Me When You're Not Strong,
Bill Withers,
and I'll Be Your Friend.
Karen, please. Okay. It's already going to get cold.
And guitarist Dennis Coffey, who made one of the baddest.
Scorpio.
Scorpio was.
And what label was that on?
Sussex.
But what label did he originate from?
I don't know.
Motown.
Okay.
He was one of the Funk Brothers. Don't.
Okay.
All us band members know that.
You know what we used to dance with? The dance we used to do off of that because I was out when I was like in middle school.
Bump.
No.
What?
Penguin.
On that note. Can you tell the difference between Aretha Columbia and Aretha Atlantic?
It's a little smoother.
Uh-huh.
They wanted her to be a little smoother.
Right. They didn't know how to market her. And y'all wondering where I got it from. I had the CD. You know where I found the CD at?
Where did you find
it? At
it?
a rummage sale. Or is that rummage?
Rummage.
Okay.
Sale.
Got it for $1. They were throwing it away.
And I know that broke your heart when you saw them CDs they were getting ready to throw away. And you ran to the CDs. Stop! Right?
Shut up.
I know that's what happened. You said, they're throwing away music. Stop. Let me see.
You know, there was a time where I would visit different cities and I would go to the record stores, but I would go in the hood. And then I would go out in the so-called malls, and I found so much stuff that they were just practically giving away.
You know where you can find some albums? To go to the Goodwill. That's where Courtney was bringing me back all of these vinyl albums, and she said she was in the Goodwill, and there was a guy standing there, and it was like Roy Ayers.
There you go.
Sunshine. And so she said this guy was standing there looking at it. And he didn't know what he was looking like.
Right.
And she goes, "Oh, man, who is that guy? Some fake looking Marvin Gaye kind of guy." And so the guy didn't know. And he's like, "Yeah, it does look kind of, I don't know who that is." And she's like, "Yeah." And he walked away and she snatched it up.
See?
And brought it home.
It is amazing that there are so many people that, I'm not holding it against them. They don't know
what they got.
What they right.
Not what they have.
Right.
What they got.
What they got. But you know what? We could have some stuff that they could have some stuff that we don't know about, and we've got some stuff that they don't know
about.
Right.
So,
right. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
I was doing CHR, Contemporary Hits Radio, and they were falling all over. Some guys were in the studio with me one night.
Who were they?
Well, there was some of my coworkers there. And I didn't know the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And like R&B, you have what we call in a rotation clock, you have powers, you have currents, recurrents, then you have what we call oldie 1, oldie 2, and oldie 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in CHR, they have almost the same things, but they have a box with, you pull a card to play that song, then you put the card behind the other card, so it will stay in rotation. Confused me to all get out. But anyway, I just started pulling cards, and every time I would play something, it was like, ooh. And I'm like, what they want for that? I didn't understand the music. I just followed. Well, it was a good paycheck, so.
Right.
But I understood the music more in country than I did in CHR.
Well, tell people what CHR is.
Contemporary Hits Radio.
Which is basically top 40.
Top 40. Yeah.
Yeah. Top 40.
Top 40.
Right.
And there are a lot of songs that are recorded by minorities that didn't reach the top 40.
Right. We had that discussion.
Yeah. Casey Kasem. Now.
I used to listen to Casey Kasem.
I actually met him. He was a short guy.
Right. Very short.
About 5'4", 5'5", And his wife was like 6'9".
I know, big blonde chick.
I'm like, Jesus, man, what you think? Nice guy, though.
Yes, Casey Kasem. Come on Saturday.
Yeah.
The
countdown.
Casey Kasem.
Right.
And then you get to hear what other people are listening to or what you like to listen to.
And we had a guy by the name of Walt Baby Love.
Yes, he did the top. He did the black. He also did gospel, too.
He did. Walt is still living happily out in Los Angeles.
Okay.
But, yeah, man. Early Aretha, you could hear that voice. Early Aretha. Mm-hmm. They say sometimes when life has had a little...
Seasoned you.
Yeah, seasoned you. Yeah, you don't sound quite the same.
Yeah, so she sounded seasoned by the late 60s.
Oh, she was well seasoned.
Life.
Yeah, Otis Clay sang gospel before he sang R&B with Willie Banks and the Messengers. That's where he let that song When the Gates Swing Open.
Oh, I know that song.
And he has the most popular version of that. Now, you want to really hear it even better? Johnny Taylor and the Soul Stirrers. Ooh.
Maybe that's the one I've heard.
Maybe. I don't know. But it's Monday.
It is Monday.
I like that. That's when they sang it then,
They were singing.
See, Sister Bertha, she don't get hot till you do that. Now you got a preacher that can do that? Maybe he can't preach, but he can hoof.
Okay, right. And because there is a word now called andara.
Dear people, ain't no such word.
For all of let me put it like this: for all of our listeners who may not be of the Black church experience, andara is a word.
That's why I went to the Catholic church just to relax.
And go to sleep.
Because I was just too stressed out, man.
Yeah, it's all quiet.
All quiet. And you know, just too much getting up and sitting down, though.
Yeah, it is.
But I got to give them credit. They out of there in 1 hour, flat.
Yep.
It might be 1,200 people, maybe less. I don't know.
I wonder if they have her original home still there.
I'm not going to even try to lie about it. I don't know. I really don't. I'm baffled that they have Aretha Franklin's birthplace in Memphis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where she was born and partially grew up before her father. All of them moved to Detroit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do have her birthplace. But Tina, I don't know. I really don't know.
She may not want... some people have had such hard lives.
They don't want that memory.
They don't want the memory.
Wow.
So, some people are like, nah, I don't even want to go back there. I don't even want people to go there to see where I was born. So...
Yeah. Well...
You never know.
Because Michael never did come back here after that one time, right?
2003.
Yeah, I remember that when we went over to the Railcat Stadium
and everything. And
y'all had a conniption fit.
He went to the high school. And
he didn't even go to high school here, did he?
No, he left in elementary school, actually. Because he didn't even make it to middle. Because we would have met up in middle school.
Really?
It was a feeder school. So we would have met up in middle school.
Okay.
But no, never did.
What about Denise?
She graduated high school here.
Oh, so she went all the way.
Yeah, she went all the way.
And why does Fred Williamson lie about where he's from?
I don't know. He went to Frable. And
he will never, ever admit Gary, Indiana. He always sounds from Chicago.
Yeah, like you still making movies and people care.
Yeah, he made a movie in Zia. Well, that gangster thing that flopped, right?
I don't know.
It was a movie they made not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
I think back in the 90s or something like
Well,
that.
not too long. That
Original
was a long
Gangster.
time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Original Gangster. Right.
No, I thought that was well, I don't know. I didn't see it. But anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
He would come back here frequently because he was friends with the former Mayor Rudy Clay. They were friends, and he would come, I think, frequently to visit him and stuff, but that's about it. But, younger people don't know who Fred Williamson is unless they follow, the old blaxploitation movies.
Yes, may we help you?
Yes, sir. Speaking of Tina, I'm from her hometown. Matter of fact, we was in the family together.
You from Nutbush, Tennessee?
I'm from a place called Henning, Tennessee, not too far from there. And it was a highway number 19, number of cotton gin there. And she used to pick strawberries with my brothers and my oldest sisters.
And a gin house?
Yeah, one about a gin. That's right. That's gin.
The cotton gin house.
Yes, yeah, you're right about that. And she had a sister named Anna Mae Bullock. She buried her about 4 years ago out in California.
Wait a minute, hold on. That was her name, Anna Mae Bullock.
I mean, Adeline Bullock.
Adeline. Okay.
Yeah, they buried her out. She buried her out in California.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother.
Now, Clay Evans, them from the same hometown, and they got road in honor of them, Tina Turner Road and Clay Evans. The Evans
really?
Boy. Yes, they is from Nutbush.
What big city is Nutbush close to? So I know what proximity.
Okay, have you heard of a city called Brownville, Tennessee?
Nope. I'm only familiar with parts of Tennessee, of course, Memphis and Nashville, Murfreesboro. That's Kentucky, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Now, she is like 54 miles north of Memphis.
Oh.
You heard of a town called Dyersburg?
Yeah, Dyersburg. Yeah. 57, if I'm not correct. I'm not mistaken, goes down through that way, right? Right?
No, 57 branch off, and you come back over 157. They got a new way you go down there.
Oh, a little adjacent to it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's between Dyersburg and Memphis there.
So you and Tina related?
Yeah, we was in the family.
When you heard from her?
Oh, I haven't heard from her. I didn't even remember seeing her but once when we was in Tennessee.
In your whole life?
Yeah.
Call Cuz up and tell her come on over.
Yeah.
What do you mean you related to me?
Yeah, she just had a cousin, her first cousin. We graduated together down in Tennessee, Shirley Bullock. And she had a cousin used to sell cars on 95th in Chicago.
Huh?
There.
Really?
Yeah, but he done passed away. Most of the people's over here this way done passed away. She gave up her citizenship.
Right.
Right.
Well, we thank you for calling, man. I got an ID coming up, so I don't want it to interrupt you,
Yeah. Go ahead and do me some Tyrone Davis, Otis Clay.
Oh.
Is this the Otis Clay man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Can I change my mind?
Yeah, okay.
Take care, brother.
I wasn't a huge Prince fan. I have a compilation CD of some of his stuff, which is mostly the stuff that I like. But I was never really into him like that.
He had one song that I truly love to this day, and I wasn't a big Prince fan either. Adore. I love that song. If you listen to it, take the time to listen to it. It's a beautiful song. Until the end of time, I'll be there for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, he also wrote a lot of songs for other people too.
He was a ghost writer as well.
But you can always tell when you if somebody,
stuff,
you can. You like that sounds like Prince.
Because Sheena Easton,
that was his protege.
She got
for a while.
banned off the air. That song got banned off the air, but after it played for so long, who cared?
Which one?
Sugar Walls.
Oh yeah, Sugar Walls.
That was a nice song. Come inside my sugar wall. He was he was a younger version of James Brown.
You think?
This is why I say.
Okay.
He had a tight rein on his band.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
he was the band.
Well, he recorded the album himself, but he would bring the band in for the road. Mm-hmm. And it is said that he fined heavily for missing a step or a beat because the drummer at all times has to keep their eyes on him, as like James Brown. Mm-hmm. James Brown would fine you $50 for mistakes. For instance, if you miss a movement, miss a beat, if your uniform wasn't clean, tidy, and all you had to do was turn it in after every show, they'd clean it and everything for you. Prince, the same way. They say Prince would fire a band in a minute and hire a new one on the road.
Wow.
James Brown did the same thing to the JBs. Fired them and hired Bootsy Collins and them on the spot. So Prince, along with being a shadow writer, can you imagine? That estate is well worth over $500 billion.
You think so?
Oh.
And I saw the house. We didn't go in because we didn't know we had to pay $50 just to go
Paisley Park?
Yeah, just to go walk around.
Now, is that a house or that's a big industrial building?
It's a big industrial looking building. It doesn't look like a house. It looks like one of those industrial parks.
Because he lived there. Yeah,
right. It looks like an industrial park.
Right.
And it's white. It's got a big fence around it. You would never know that was Paisley Park because they don't have a whole bunch of stuff out there saying, "Ooh, this is Prince House." It just sits off the side of the road like an industrial park.
Maybe that was the idea. Right.
It was. And he doesn't live in Minneapolis. He lives outside Minneapolis.
The suburbs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. There you go, Prince Rogers Nelson.
Yes.
I was trying to find this story that I was telling you about.
About the bingo?
About the bingo. The two old ladies got into it about a chair at the nursing home.
Because one person wanted to sit
in one place. And it was
a
fight. Lady was 79, her friend was 86. I'm like, I think I would have peed on myself laughing. I ain't even gonna fake it. I really would have. Oh, Lord. And there goes the walker. And there goes the cane. Oh, my God. Teeth are coming out everywhere.
You're not going to believe this, but the latest research says that female brains, on average, appear to be about 3 years more youthful than the brains of males the same age.
Listen, after y'all get through worrying the dickens out of us as little boys and then men, it should be.
Anyhow,
y'all women don't realize what kind of stress y'all put on us, right?
Oh, please. Huh? This just saying that the researchers said they're just starting to understand how various sex-related factors might affect the trajectory of brain aging and how that might influence the vulnerability of the brain to neurodegenerative diseases. And that was Manu Goyle of Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. He says brain metabolism might help us understand some of the differences we see between men and women as they age.
Really?
Mm-hmm, but they say that women's brains are more youthful.
Please. They ought to be.
Mm-hmm.
I am so tired of that.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, you guys... Study shows that you mature faster than we do.
This is true.
And
and we're smarter.
In what capacity?
In almost everything.
What?
We just play the Jedi mind trick on y'all and make you all.
It ain't no mind trick. It's real. Y'all crazy.
Because we understand that you all have issues.
This just in: single men live longer. Details. At 6 o'clock.
Actually, studies show that single men die earlier because they can't function without, especially if they've never been married, they die early. Yes, it's true. Because they don't have anybody to take care of them. They don't know how to take care of themselves.
What?
They walk around looking all disheveled.
You got a cousin 92 years old. What?
But wait a minute. He was married for 67 years.
Oh, really?
And she trained him how to take care of himself.
How you going?
This man is he's cleaner than I am. He folds his underwear.
I fold mine, so what's the difference?
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I just stuffed mine in the drawer.
See, that was wrong.
It's just all stuffed in the drawer.
You have to fold drawers. You just can't put them in there.
You can.
Them little bitty things y'all have, they just can go anywhere.
I just stick them in the drawer.
Unless you from Lane Bryant, then you have to put them quilts in the drawer. Why? I know somebody gonna go, something wrong with him. Something wrong with him. It'd be nice.
I was shocked. He was sick. I had to go to his house and get some clothes, you know.
Folding big old sheets. See somebody on the camera wondering, what the hell is he doing? That's how you fold them big, see?
Big bloomers.
I had to hang out the laundry when I was growing up. Me and my great grandmother. Oh yeah, she had that old Ringer type washing machine.
Right, yeah.
So she would wait till I get off the bus, come home. My job was to hang out the laundry.
Okay.
And oh God, oh the memories.
My name is Karen Williams, and I'm co-creator of this podcast with Steve Williams, who's been a friend of mine for over 25 years. We first worked together at the radio station where we currently do our daytime 2 to 5 radio program. For many years, I've thought Steve really needs to share his knowledge of music with a broader audience. He began his career in radio at 16. He grew up in Chicago, but then moved to the South with his great-grandmother when he was about 13. And from there, he was able to work in radio, go to college, continuously work in radio, then go and work for Malaco Records as a promotions person. And he met a tremendous amount of people, learned a tremendous amount about the music industry, especially the 60s, 70s, and 80s classic soul music. I grew up in Gary, Indiana. Yeah, the same Gary, Indiana that the Jacksons come from, and countless other artists and actors and famous people. You'll probably hear about them throughout the podcast. I went on to journalism school after high school and got a degree, and have been working in the media field for over 35 years. Our radio show is actually taped in Gary, Indiana. So what I've done is I've taken parts of our show and put them together for this podcast. We really want you to just sit back and listen to our podcast and enjoy. We do silly stuff too. We'll make you laugh. We'll add some other things in there. You'll be surprised about some of the things you learn about classic R&B. I know I was. Please share this podcast with your friends. Enjoy it. Oh, and share it with your kids too.